We're on air. Welcome everybody. I know no one's watching just yet. I know people are going to be rewatching the stream, so for those that are watching after the race is over, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight we race in New Hampshire, race 15, to the cutoff race tonight, I believe, correct?
No, Talladega next
Talladega,
week will
yes,
be the
it's four
cutoff
races.
race.
So this is the second race to cut off. A win is very important here tonight in New Hampshire. Tricky track. Definitely got to worry about your corner exit. It's very easy to get loose off of turn 2 here. You just got to be careful. Feather the throttle. It's all about throttle control. Also in the booth with me tonight, Wallbridge, my co-host.
Hello.
As you guys know him, as he's the main guy over there on Saturday nights. How was the Saturday New Hampshire race?
I was actually not here for Saturday, and I'm pretty sad to say that I wasn't because it was, from what I heard, a pretty good show. But I will say, though, harping on a point that you were talking about, corner exit. Keep an eye out for that turn 2 exit, man. That wall is sneaky. It comes in fast, and if you're not ready for it, it can and may ruin your day.
Yeah, the Magic Mile, we're going up north for this race as
My home track, baby.
a couple of drivers' home tracks in the field on Saturday night. It was Nomad's home track. It's also Elvin Priest's home track, and from my personal experience, this is definitely his best track, but we will get into our picks in just a moment.
I still think I live closer than anybody, though.
Another big factor, though, about turn 2 is the apron. And a lot of people take that risk. They have that low exit, they run on the apron, and you take that risk of spinning your car out.
Or you dime it, or instead of taking the apron, what they'll do is take a low entry in, diamond the corner. But the problem is if you don't get your car rotated right, turn 2, you hit that turn 2 wall on exit, and it will absolutely ruin your run.
Absolutely. We've seen it so many times, especially last season at New Hampshire, where Elvin Priest dominated that race. As I said, that we will get into the picks in a second. It's going to be a great race tonight, and we appreciate all of you guys tuning in. It's going to be a fun one tonight. And then next weekend is going to be unbelievable.
Talladega
is going to be unbelievable. That's in 2 days.
That's going to be the cutoff.
This Saturday is the race at Talladega for the Pro-Am drivers, which is the cutoff race. Everyone knows how important it is, and what other track to decide who moves on than Talladega?
Talladega.
So I think
it's really just a wild card too.
Absolutely. I mean, there's anyone that can win that race, as long as it doesn't come down to fuel strategy.
Yeah, so if you're on the cutoff line, you got that race circled as soon as the playoffs started.
I think now would be a good time to move into picks as qualifying is going on while we speak. So, my favorite for tonight is gonna have to be, and this is gonna be a little bit of a shocker, because knowing how good Elvin Priest is at New Hampshire, we've seen somebody else on the part-time schedule come in and dominate these tricky tracks, and that's going to be Favre tonight. I think he gets it done in the 77 car. Who's your favorite for tonight, Walbridge?
Man, you left Elvin wide open, but I'm not going to go with Elvin. I'm going to go with the 5-car Parley. He has been arguably, next to Flash, who is unfortunately not going to be here tonight, he has been arguably the most consistent driver out of the entire field since the playoffs have started and a couple races before that. So I'm looking for Parley to really lock in, and this could be a play to really lock into that 1 seed going into the next round now that Showtime Flash is leaving the door open.
Yes, especially with the struggles from Elvin Priest, as we've seen recently. He won the regular season championship, but has a very slow start to the playoffs, and that's why neither of us had made that pick for Elvin Priest, as these first 2 races in the last 2 weeks have not been a good showing for Elvin. So,
And he had a good run last week. It just all went haywire at the end. Had a bad pit exit, spun it out, and then absolutely killed his run.
yes, and that was for anybody that tuned into the Charlotte race, the Phantom 300. That was a great race to commentate.
So
We
good.
saw
That
some
was
of the
so good.
best racing we've seen all season long. I'm going to move on to my sleeper pick, though, and it's going to be one of the new guys in the field. He had a really good running last week at Charlotte, ran up with the top dogs of the league. I'm going to go with none other than Shack Attack in that 50 car. I think that he's going to be up towards the front again tonight. That car is still hideous in my opinion, but it doesn't matter as long as the driver driving it is fast. And we saw it last week at Charlotte. Very humble interview, and I think he's going to have another great running here tonight. Who's
I
yours?
think my sleeper pick, and this one's going to be a new one for me. He's been really coming on lately. Been really running, starting to run in the top 5. He had a good run at Charlotte. 1-9 in the 78. 6 top 5s. I believe he got a top 5 at Charlotte last week. And he was running really good through all the pit strategy and whatever. He was running top 5 all day. So I think I'm going to go with that 78 at 1-9.
That's a good pick. Honestly, it was someone that was in the back of my mind, but I don't know. I like that 50 car here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So while qualifying is going on, we're just going to talk about some random stuff because there really isn't much left to cover. We're going to let the drivers.
Yes, now we're going to get into
the controversy that we caused.
the PRL podcast.
Yes. The 5-minute episodes that we get, and we're allowed to stream without getting taken down by Elvin. Oh, there's the invite. So let's make this as fast as possible. Let's make this a 2-minute podcast. Basically, we started controversy about is Austin Dillon deserving enough to be in the 3 car, and we both think no.
No, he is absolutely not, and he never was when he came into the Cup Series. And that was controversial then. It's still controversial now. He does have big wins in the car. But really, if you don't win on fuel mileage, if everybody doesn't run out of gas before you, and you don't wreck the guy who's winning the race, he doesn't have a win on his career. He doesn't have a clean win where it's not
Texas.
Everybody runs out of gas or he wrecks a guy.
Texas, maybe? The RCR cars came to play that day.
Well,
His Texas one was his only impressive
yeah,
win.
but he's got one win in 5 years.
Yeah.
One good win in 5 years.
Yeah, because he still had to hold off Reddick.
He did, and he did a good job at that.
Pretty impressive.
But it's just one win. So it's like he was talking about, like you said, he was talking about playing pickleball if NASCAR doesn't work out. I want someone to tell his grandfather that because I don't think his grandfather gets the memo that his grandsons aren't really built for this. Like Ty Dillon, trash. Austin Dillon, meh. Like none of his grandkids are deserving to wear to wear that number 3. Like, I get it, you want to keep it in the family because you started the number with Dale and blah, 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 blah. But when it comes down to the end of it, they aren't deserving of it, of what that number means to not only the sport, the fan base, just in general. That car alone has 7 titles, and now in the past decade it has 3 wins.
Absolutely, and we are about to go green, and I think we're ready to join. I'm not sure. I don't know if I should cut off the mic because when I join the invite.
Well, what's the stream?
Parley. I think we're good. I join.
They're in the track.
Go.
Okay, Parley, you can make weird noises.
over Harley. Oh shit, they're coming to the green, man.
Yeah, they are.
Sorry for cursing. As we are green flag here at New Hampshire, leading him to the green flag is none other than my pick for tonight. You guys can't see it yet, but I don't think it really matters as he is pulling away here down the backstretch. We're not going to be able to see it just yet. We should be tuning in here at the end of lap 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Should
and
be
hey,
right
they
about
make
now.
it through cleanly. Everybody seems to be running that middle line.
There you go. We are on lap 2 now. As wow, there's cars going wide and towards the back of the pack. My sleeper pick for tonight, the 55 car, almost in the wall. Close calls all the way around the field, and Showtime Favre taking advantage of it, pulling away while he still can before they all get filed out. Showtime Favre leads the first 3 laps.
Yeah, and you saw, man, they came out of turn 2, 3 wide. You don't want to be doing that. That is the easiest way to get caught up in somebody's mess. If you can go 3 wide out of 4, that's a little bit easier, man, but there's a little, if you look, when they come out of turn 2, there's a little bit of a hump there. It's real easy to get your car loose on there. So if you're coming out of there 3 wide, it's real easy to get loose and hit that wall.
As we go on board with Dunlap in the 66 car, he's getting pushed around a little bit by some of these drivers in the back. The 50 car, the 41, and the 6, all knowing what they have to do to get past some of these guys. I mean, the bumper is your best friend and your worst enemy at some times. I mean, we're seeing it right now. The 50 car all over the back bumper. The 41 is drivers are still trying to get all filed out as Elvin Priest gets moved out of the way. Speaking of bumpers, Elvin Priest gets punted out of the way by the 44 field filler. A move off the front bumper of that Grambling State University Camaro, as we're going to send it back to Walbridge here.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to see a lot on this track, too. You got a really heavy braking zone. That's what makes this track different from these other short tracks, is you got a really long straightaway. You're really maxing out the rev limiter on there. So you go heavy into the braking zone. And what happens is someone might brake a little too early, and then you're going to run them up. And then as soon as you get out of that black little pavement that's at the that's in that 3rd lane, man, it's no man's land out there, so you're going to drop quick. But yeah, Elvin Priest was making a good run through the field. He was up to 3rd, or fighting for that 3rd spot. Unfortunate, but I'm glad he didn't lose that much ground on his part.
Harley, 19mm, and field filler all trying to work together now. No more passing. I think that's a good decision by everyone. Get lined up, get single file. You do not need to pass this early in the stage. It's a 36-lap stage, a pretty long one. No need to be making unnecessary moves this early on into the race.
Yeah, and if you look at what Showtime Farm's doing, what he's doing is he's starting in that 2nd lane, letting his car ride up in that 3rd lane to diamond it, so that way you can have a straighter exit. Comes in on the 2nd lane, goes up to the 3rd lane in the middle, back down to the 2nd lane on exit, so that way you can really diamond the corner and have a really quick exit. Really good lines from what I'm seeing from that 77 car.
As we are going to go on board here with that 77 car, let's see what he's doing differently than everybody else, as he has increased that gap to about 1.2 seconds over the 5 of Parley. Has led the first 9 laps here in New Hampshire. I mean, that's why I picked him. I knew that coming into this race. I mean, we've seen raw talent from him all season long. We knew how good he was from the beginning, and now tonight he doesn't have to deal with his teammate Showtime Flash, so I bet he feels a lot more comfortable knowing that name is not in the field.
Yeah, and if you're seeing Parley, he's not really doing the diamond through 3 and 4. He's really just riding that 2nd lane. I think he might be trying to hold his stuff a little bit longer, because with these heavy braking zones and hard corners comes a lot of tire wear. So you might be trying to save a little bit here in the early going, let Showtime get out to, burn his stuff, get into a little bit of a lead here. Figure out where your car works. This is a really hard track. Nobody was looking forward to this race, dude. We talked about it for the first 2 weeks of this. leading up to this. In every interview we did, nobody wanted New Hampshire. Nobody wanted to deal with this track. So that's all you're going to be doing through the first stage, is figuring out where your car handles best. And right now, Showtime Favre, sorry, took no time at all to figure out where his car was good.
As the last few weeks, we've also been talking about the struggles from Elvin Priest. As tonight we make our way to his best track, but it hasn't made too much of a difference as he's finding himself back in 5th right now, behind the 44 field filler. I mean, he won the regular season championship and has been off to a slow start since then. I think he's going to get it back on track, though. I think tonight he's going to have a good run, a good podium finish, and I think that it'll help his momentum going forward. But just because you win the regular season championship does not mean you get to slack off in the beginning of the playoffs. No call-outs here. I don't want to come off as rude or anything towards Elvin, but I'm being honest, and I think that...
And it's honest criticism because... Yeah. I mean, he had a good run at Charlotte. We're not taking anything away from Charlotte.
Exactly.
He was running up through the field. The pit strategy was supreme. He did not have the car he wanted to. We talked to him after the race was over, after the stream ended. He did not have the car he wanted at all. Made a lot of good adjustments, and you saw it paid off. He was able to stick up with the leaders, had himself in second, was going to have the lead when those pit cycles at the end came out, when they all were done. And then at the end of it, it just didn't pan out. He spun it coming off a pit road, and it ruined his night. So we know he can do the pit strategy. We know this is his track. Right now, it's can he finish this race on a high note?
Exactly, and that's why we were not calling him out for that finish in Charlotte. We knew how good he was all race. He capitalized on having a bad car, but a mistake late on in the race is... You know, he spun coming off of pit road, off of turn 2. A rough ride as he almost hit the inside wall, but it was enough to ruin his night. And now we are here in New Hampshire. He's so far ahead in points that he doesn't really have to worry too much about, you know, losing too much points and being a threat for the bubble. But a good run here tonight could be a big help going forward so that possibly he can win the championship here in the Phantom Pro Series.
Yeah, right now we got Field Filler and Happy fighting for that 6th spot. Field Filler able to get through there, dives it pretty good into turn 3. Gonna be able to clear him as I'm looking now, moving up to the 5 car Parley, who's starting to break away from 1-9 in the 78, and here comes a little bit of that 24 car, the Black Cross, looking to enter this battle that's coming up in the top 5.
Old Johnny boy makes his way to pit road.
Yeah, 24 car though. Another guy we didn't mention at the start here. He was doing it. He also had a good Charlotte race until some late race calamity happened, and was unable to get the finish he was looking for. Maybe he can be another one that can capitalize here on a good run.
As Parley looks to be running a different line now, as I think he could tell that the first line he was running wasn't working as well. So now he's running a lot higher of an arc in 3 and 4. I think he's just trying to look for anything that could give him an advantage. I mean, with some of the runs off you can get here at New Hampshire, the back stretches, both stretches are longer than you'd think. I mean, there's plenty of time to gain some of the space you lose in the middle of the corner, but it looks like they're just balancing out right now. I don't think that anyone's faster than anyone. I think that everyone behind Showtime Favre had a bad start to this race, and that really cost them going forward, as Parley still finds himself about 1.5 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, Parley, though, I think he's starting to ride his car. He saw that Showtime Favre. I'm going to get so bad with saying Flash and not Favre.
Yep. I made the same mistake about
just because I'm so used to seeing the 7. But he's starting to see that diamond, that doing the diamond through the corner was working real good for Favre. So you see him now getting in that second lane, running up to the third. And as soon as he hits
Oh,
that
God.
third lane, slowly hitting the accelerator, and then as soon as he gets down to the second lane, he mashes the gas and rides it down the backstretch.
I believe Happy and Field Filler both had pit road penalties there. I'm not sure, but they were on pit road for a long time. As cars are starting to make their pit cycles, as we see the 24 dive down pit road here. Let's see if anyone follows with him. Yes, the 66 car and the 50 of Shack Attack. 3 cars coming down pit road, making some early adjustments, as we've seen a lot of cars struggling. Unless your name is Showtime Favre, you have plenty of improvements to make to keep up with him.
Yeah, no, and this is a track too where pit strategy really comes into play. This is one track. This is a track where having the short pit strategy might actually benefit you. So we're gonna see here if anybody got another speeding penalty, because you know we've seen that a lot here through the playoffs. Black Cross, I think, is all good. So we'll see how the short pit goes.
As I think Parley's coming in this time. As he made his signal down the backstretch, he should be coming in this time. Yes, he is. Here comes the 5 car down the pit road. Let's see if anyone follows. Yep.
Yeah.
19mm Elvin Priest coming down pit road, joining the 5 car. They know if anyone has the strength right now to keep up with that 77, it's the 5 of Parley. As we've seen the speed from him all season long, the most consistent driver in my opinion all year long. I think he's going to be a major threat for this championship moving forward.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I think it's going to be him, Flash, and Elvin right now are the top 3 that are going to be fighting for that title.
Showtime Favre, though, still not making a sign to come to pit road, as no speeding penalties from these 3 guys that came down. Showtime Favre still has not made his commitment to pit road. Let's see if he comes in this time. Should not have too much fuel left in the tank. As, yep, here he comes, the 77 car down pit road.
Yeah, but you got to think, too, he's got, what, 4 lap pressure tires, then Black Cross. He's going to have 2 lap pressure tires, then the 5, the 78, and the 42. And actually, Black Cross, with the short pit, moves up 2 spots. He gets past the 78 and the 42. So now it's Parley and Black Cross, and right now we're just waiting to see where this 77 of Showtime comes out.
We're going to see how much tires mean. We've seen it all season long. We call it out every week. How much do tires mean as the 77 car coming off pit road here? Does the 5 have enough speed to get past him? I don't think he does.
No. It's gonna be Favre retaining the lead.
With about 3 to 4 lap pressure tires as well. That is a huge stop for the 77. Great job by him getting down the pit road at speed. And a great job by the pit crew, giving him a great stop. As Showtime Favre cycles out your leader with about 3 to 4 lap pressure tires. You could not ask for a better pit stop to start this race.
Yeah, and about 10 laps left in the stage, too.
One pit stop this stage.
Yeah. So Showtime just absolutely S-tiered that pit cycle. Stayed out 2 laps longer. Still got the lead, but I think a big mover through that whole pit cycle was that 24 Black Cross. Moved up 2 or 3 spots on it. Either way, I think Black Cross was a big winner out of all those green flag pit stops.
Showtime Favre going to have to do a good job at avoiding mistakes. As you can see right there how much the 5 gains on corner entry. That car can dive it in deep, but just does not have the rotation for a good exit. And that's been costing him big time. I don't know if that's the tires or a bad line, but we're going to see when they all get equaled out in fresh tires to start stage 2. As the 77 is just pulling away and has a good sight at that stage 1 victory.
Yeah, and that's a hidden gem here about New Hampshire. There's so many different ways to attack these corners. To diamond it, ride the 3rd lane only, ride the 2nd lane only. You can go down to the apron on entry and be able to run up into the 2nd lane and then diamond the corner. But there's so many different lines you can use, and that's what drivers like about this track, is it challenges you to figure out what makes your car work. And there's so many different ways to do it that it's honestly just something that takes you almost the whole race to figure out, and then adjust your car to what you feel works best.
I mean, even with 3-lap older tires, Parley's keeping up with that 77 a lot better than he was before. I mean, he was struggling before. I mean, he let that gap get to almost 2 seconds. Right now, he's doing a great job at keeping the pace. We might have seen a good adjustment out of that 5 car, and I think we're really going to be able to see it at the start of stage 2. But I don't see anybody catching that 77 car without a mistake.
I think right now it's just figuring out, use this stage, figure out what your car needs. Just get your green flag pit stop done, make a minor adjustment so that way it makes your car better through the stage. And then when it comes to stage 2, that's when you make the major change at the end of stage 1. And then do the same thing through the rest of the race. I think if these guys can stick with that, I think they can put up a fight with Showtime.
As we are now at 5 laps to go. A car around, there's 2 cars around down the front stretch. Field filler with heavy damage. Also the 78 of 19mm. I believe the 50 car was involved as well, but there shouldn't be a caution. There's only 5 to go in the stage. Should not affect things, but I heard it over the radio, a little scream, and that is going to cost a lot of drivers some time, and that's going to be a lot of damage to repairs. We only have 3.5 laps remaining here in stage 1.
Yeah, no, definitely something that can happen. You see it in real life too. Corner exit is not a fun thing, and it's really easy to lose your car. I don't know if they had help with it or not, but definitely something you need to watch out for here in New Hampshire.
Heavy damage to the front end of that 78 car as the 41's looking to pass him. A great job, though, at keeping the car straight and getting it back going. And
as you go to the front, though, you're starting to see that tire barrier starting to, those 2-lap pressure tires starting to come into play. Parley's starting to lose that 77 to Showtime. And you're starting to see it with Black Cross, too. Black Cross has been losing Parley because Parley has 2 laps pressure tires than Black Cross.
It's all about when you decide to pit, how much you can save, and which lines you're running. I think that's going to be the key to success tonight. As the 77 comes off turn 4, we're seeing the white flag here for stage 1. A great opening stage by Showtime. Favre led every lap of the 36-lap stage. That 77 car might just be the guy to beat tonight. I made that prediction at the beginning of the night, knowing how fast that car was going to be. I saw it on the leaderboard, how much speed that car has, and he's showing it now off of turn 4 for the final time in stage 1. Showtime Favre's going to come back and collect the green and white checkered flag. Showtime Favre, your stage 1 winner here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, Parley going to come through in second. Black Cross able to keep third. Alvin Priest comes through in fourth. And I don't really know who came through in fifth at the end of that one. I think it might be Happy?
As we're going to take this time to thank our sponsors, MFF Motorsports, Chris's Auto Towing LLC, J-Pace Racing, Everything NASCAR, Firelinks Racing Network, The Super Squad, ESMN, Redline Racing, FTR, Full Throttle Racing, NARS, Flash 9 Fitness Program, hashtag Lick Trees, and MinaPeach.com. Thank you all for sponsoring. You guys make every week happen, week in and week out. And shout out Flash 9, though. Go check that out. Learn how to lick a tree. It's crazy what the human tongue could do. As everyone's making their adjustments, we should be seeing the green flag here in stage 2 in any moment now, as the 77 should be leading them to that green flag once everything cycles out here. Yes, he is. So the 5 car and the 77 are going to lead them back to the green flag here. We're going to go on board with the 24 car as the green flag is out. Stage 2 underway. Let's see if these guys have a better start and can keep up with that 77 car.
Oh, you see Elvin getting aggressive, cuts the nose off the 24, going into turn 1. Gets underneath the 5 car Parley, forces him to be outside. Can that 42 run the inside line? Knowing that the outside is so good here, and he's able to do it. The 5 car Parley dropping back to fight for third with the 24 Black Cross, as he will be able to do it.
As we saw them have a lot more organized on the start. Last time around at the beginning of stage 1, at the start of the race, we saw everyone second on back have 3 wide battles, and it really let the 77 car pull away. But now Elvin Priest all over the back bumper of that 77 car. Let's see if he could be the first driver that isn't Showtime Farm to lead a lap here tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if Parley can recover that ground he lost too. Through all of that mayhem, getting stuck on left on the outside, we've seen him have that long run speed. Not as good as the 77, but probably the best that's not Showtime Farm through the field. So we'll be able to see if he can. But right now, Elvin Priest able to stay with Showtime Farm through the first couple laps to this stage.
Elvin Priest running a lower entry than the 77 in turns 3 and 4. That's where he's gaining most of his time. An impressive line for the 42, doing everything he can to keep up with that 77, not let him pull away like he did in stage 1.
Yeah, but right now he's got to look in his rear view mirror because Parley is all over his bumper right now. And the 42 goes wide, leaving the bottom open. He misses the entrance of turn 3. Parley shoots to the inside. They're drag racing down the front stretch. Who's going to win in the braking zone? Going into turn 1, Elvin drifts up the corner. Parley able to hold his line, uses that apron, gets a little bit more turn out of the car. Edges just ahead as they fight down the backstretch. Black Cross looking to get in on this too. And get right on the bumper of Parley to see if he can shuffle Elvin just a little farther back. As Parley gonna be, and Elvin into the wall out of 4.
That 42 car looks awfully tight on corner exit. We keep seeing him inch closer and closer to that wall. But the bad news is for Parley, even though he made that pass for second, that allowed the 77 to pull away once again. They're no longer in contact with that 77 car. That's not what you want to happen. But that 42 car is really struggling on the corner exit. He has a great entry, but man, that car does not rotate on exit. As we're seeing a lot of struggles from that 44 car towards the back. We saw him get in the wall there. I didn't call it out because I didn't want to interrupt, but wow, just a really bad start to the night for that 44 field filler. Started up towards the front, ran in the top 5 early on in stage 1. Now finds himself at the back of the pack, battling with the 41 for last place.
Yeah, see it with the 78 of one night as well after getting caught up in that incident in stage 1. He's still yet to recover from it, riding out in the back right now. But yeah, like you said, you can't be going side by side in New Hampshire fighting for position that long. It's the only person that's going to get anything out of that is the guy that's ahead of you, because they were right on the 77's bumper when they started fighting, and now they are 4 or 5 car lengths off of them in just one lap.
As you see the 24 dive down to the bottom, he's looking to make a pass for second. I'm sure that the 77 car is loving what he's seeing with all these battling going on. I mean, he can't even, Parley's starting to get it together though. It looks like he gained some of that time back on the 77. The 77 car not showing as much speed as he showed early on in stage 1. Let's see if the 5 car has what it takes to get up there and battle for that lead.
Yeah, like I said, you gotta make the big adjustments. Did he make a big enough one to really close his car into how that 77's running? Is he still running? Yeah, he's still really diamond turns 1 and 2 right there. Really just rides the edge of that 3rd lane. But yeah, he's slowly making up that ground, but Black Cross is just sticking right in his tire tracks. Every corner. He's trying to, ride diamond to low diamond, really running that first and second lane.
That 5 car making up the gap bit by bit, lap by lap, as we're only 10 laps into the stage, 11 laps into the stage. As we're starting to see some real speed out of this 5 car, as we're going to go NASCAR nonstop here in the Foxwood Resort and Casino 301 here in New Hampshire. Sorry, crank it up, that's what I meant.
Crank it up. There we go. Yeah, we're not doing no commercial breaks here.
We're going to do some crank it up first. Just 2 laps. 2 laps completed in our 2-lap crank it up here in the Phantom Pro Series. We're starting to see that 5 car really reel in the 77 as he's only about 3 car lengths back from that 77 car. Great job by Parley. He's really putting in the work. Hopefully he's not wasting the tires too much trying to run down the leader.
Yeah, and I love leaving that 2 laps because you can really hear, like, being able to run your car in that 1 gear down the long backstretch into the heavy, and hearing how hard they have to brake going into these corners. So good. Oh, it's a 77 rides high through turns 1 and 2. Oh, the final Parley gets loose off of 2. And here comes the 24 Black Cross to the inside. Oh, turn 2 comes to bite the 5 of Parley. Black Cross has a really good turns 3 and 4, and he will take over second. Parley just trying to make sure his car didn't hit the wall.
All that progress that the 5 made, all wiped away in 1 corner. We talk about mistakes at a track like New Hampshire and how costly they are. All that gap that he built up, all gone in just a second, all based off 1 mistake. Let's see if he can get past the 24 car here again, as he still believes he's the faster car. Just a big mistake coming off of turn 2, as it looked like he was following the same exit that the 77 was running, but he didn't have enough speed, and that caused his car to get loose.
No, I think what happened was he saw the 77 go high in the corner, so he tried to gas it a little early, and it was too early, and he got his car loose. It would have sent him in the wall if he stayed in the throttle. And then he had a run on the 24 car coming out of turn 4 a lap ago, and he almost hit the wall there trying to gas it up to get to his bumper. And oh, Parley's just falling apart here in stage 2 as the 24 now has the job of running down the 77. Maybe used too much of those tires running down the leader. That 5 car Parley might be starting to feel the wear now.
As the 5 car with a big mistake there, hopefully that didn't really kill his tires as much as we think it did, as he finds himself all the way back in 3rd now, almost 2 seconds back from the leader. 1 tiny mistake, that's all it takes. And I mean, the 77 is making plenty up there, but they're not costly mistakes. He's not getting loose on corner exit. He's not having to lift out of the throttle too much. Sure, he might be running a wider corner, but it's not as costly as the mistake that Parley made. And with the 77 still running a wide corner, that's allowing the 24 to make up a lot of time on corner entry.
Yeah, and you can see it too when they go in the corners. That 24 Black Cross really able to dive it in a little bit better than the 77 of Favre. But I think Favre just has him a little bit on exit. But I think he's actually really closing in that gap. I think just staying consistent, not burning his stuff up, taking what the car gives him. I think that's really, oh, as I say, that goes too wide off of 4. Oh, man, I talked too good about him. He ran wide in turn 4, had to let off the throttle to keep from hitting the wall, and just like Parley, all the time he made up, now gone.
Showtime Favre, smooth sailing as we're coming up to pit stops here in any lap. Who's going to make that move first to pit road? I believe it's going to be the 44 field filler. We saw it in stage 1. He was the first car to come down. Had a speeding penalty, unfortunately. But pit stop's going to be very important. Let's see if anyone can cut the gap down with the 77. As the 77 is still in save mode, we saw it once again in stage 1. He was able to pit a few laps after everyone, and that allowed him to win the stage because he had about 3 lap fresher tires. And with all these guys wasting their tires away, they might have to pit a lap earlier or 2 laps earlier than the 77 car.
Yeah, and really, I don't know if you yet have The 77 hasn't had to fight for his position yet. He may be having a couple of slip-ups here and there, but he's not had anyone challenge his position to make him really burn up his stuff like the 24, the 5, and the 42 have. So, I mean, maybe you try and run it an extra lap if the 77 stays out another lap after you, but I just don't see yet how these guys can really get by or use the pit strategy yet to get by the 77.
Just a reminder, the 77 cars led every single lap tonight. We saw it at Road America. He led every single lap and won the race, became the first driver in Phantom to do that. Can he become the second? I don't want to be the commentator curse kind of guy, but things are looking his way as he's led every lap, putting on a clinic early on here tonight. No one's really challenged him yet. The only driver that really got close was Parley, but we saw the huge mistake coming off of turn 2. He got loose, fell back to third, and then Blackcross was reeling him in and also made a mistake off of turn 4. So, with all these guys making mistakes, it's allowing the 77 car, Showtime Favre, to do whatever he wants with this field.
Yeah, no, and he is basically just on rails. That car, he has got his corners so dialed in. Like, that turn 1 and 2 he just had was absolute textbook. Like, he is just on a line right now. He ain't getting off of it unless somebody makes him. And it is absolutely working for him.
As the
now
here
we see
come
the
leaders,
5 car.
and the 24 is going to lead a lap. So there goes that. No chance at the 77 leading every single lap.
Well, I guess he didn't want us talking that good about him.
Yep.
But right now, though, Blackcross looking to have that extra lap or 2 fresher tires. As you see Elvin Priest also stay out with him, and I don't think he's coming down this time either.
Here comes the 24. And the 42.
He is. Oh!
As 19mm stays out, he's going to be your leader now and able to stay out that extra lap. The 77 car still on pit road as he comes off now with Parley right behind him.
Yeah, that was definitely a good pit stop for that 5 car Parley, but still able to stay out in front is the 77 of Showtime Favre. Question is, did Parley make enough of the right adjustment on his car to be able to stay with him and when he gets there be able to make the move?
As we're now seeing the 24 come off pit road. A great stop by these two guys. I mean, Parley, with the stop of the race so far, made up a lot of space. I mean, he came in behind the 24. Now he finds himself about 2 seconds ahead of him. So a great entry for the 5 car. He did a great enough job not to speed, and his pit crew solidify that effort. Now, can he run down the 77 car without making any mistakes like he did before on the last run?
Yeah, right now I think he's going to be a little bit nicer to his car, we'll say, at the start of this run. Not really abuse it. Just run your line. Don't get too aggressive early. If you get there, then you can start getting aggressive. But don't get aggressive getting there and use your stuff up. They can't make the mistake. Just make sure you stay behind them.
I don't know. I think we're going to see those fresher tires come to use for that 24 car as well. As he came in a lap later, same as Elvin Priest. They all came in about two laps later than these two guys up front. So we're going to see how that pays off for them, if there's enough time for them to get up there and battle and hopefully have a shot at winning stage 2. As we do have another pit stop, I believe. I don't think the tires are going to last another 21 laps, 22 laps. So it's all going to be who can save more and who's going to be leading at the start of these next pit stops.
Yeah, and we saw work for Favre, too, that extra lap or 2. We saw the 24 stay out 1 lap more, and we saw the 78 of 19 be able to push an extra lap out of those green flag stops. So definitely a lot of guys running a couple of different strategies, seeing how well it worked for Favre. Didn't work out so well for the guys who stayed out a couple laps that time around. But knowing that this is a track where tire wear is an issue, you definitely want to make sure that you got the best stuff on the track when it matters the most.
As we're now seeing 20 laps to go in stage 2, the gap stays the same between the two leaders, and it doesn't look like the 24 is gaining much time on the 5. So I believe that this stage is going to come down to these two cars, the 5 and the 77. We've seen the 77 practically lead every single lap up to this point besides pit stops. So let's see if the 5 can get up there. That's one thing, but can he pass the 77? I think that's the bigger question.
That 77, dude, I'm just watching him on even corner exit, not even entry. He is just seriously dotting his corners. Has an absolute flawless entry and exit. You can see Parley still being a little shaky behind him on his exit, especially out of 4. But man, dude, Favre is the definition of riding on rails right now.
We saw it at Road America about a month or two ago, where he put on an absolute clinic, became the first driver to lead every single lap and win a race. And we're seeing something like that tonight. Not quite the same, as he gave up the lead in 24 and the 78 both led laps. Only one though, as the 77 cars led every other lap besides that. What a job by Showtime Favre once again tonight. We saw it at Dover a few weeks ago, where he had what we believe was the fastest car, but his teammate Showtime Flash ran him down, took the lead at the last second, and won back at Dover. Hopefully the 77 can finish once again tonight, and with how it's going, it looks like he's going to finish in that P1 position.
Right now, all signs point to it, but Parley's not going away here. That distance hasn't gotten shorter, but it hasn't gotten bigger. So Parley's right now just sticking with the 77. So I'm really interested to see what this Bob Car Parley has in the long run compared to Showtime Favre, because we saw Showtime Favre was lacking a little bit in the long run. At the end of that green flag run, guys were catching him. Parley caught him, Black Cross caught him, and right now it's just being able to, oh, the word is in my head and I can't think of it, but keep yourself under control when you get there, so that way you can effectively make a move on them.
I think we should I think now's a good time to do our ones to watch for the rest of this race. My guy is going to be Elvin Priest. I think that we saw early on in stage 2, he was able to keep up with him, but did not have the exit speed. I think that 42 car is one adjustment away from being in contention to win this race. What about you, Wolfridge?
I'm going to go with that 24 Black Cross. He's running the extra lap pressure tires right now. He's slowly, I think, is reeling in these guys. I think the tire wear is really going to come into effect at the later part of this stage. But we saw, too, he was able to run down the 77 of Favre at the end of that last green flag run just as good as Parley did. So Black Cross, if he can make the right adjustment as well, might be able to run up in the top 2, if not fight for the lead.
As we're really starting to watch that gap extend between the leader and second place, as Parley once again finds himself about a second back from the leader. I mean, a great start. I mean, after the pit stops, he was right up on the 77 car, but now finds himself all the way back here. I don't know. It doesn't seem like anyone can keep up with that 77 car. He is flying out front.
Yeah, no, this is truly something to witness here by the 77 of Showtime Favre. Just an absolute on-rails performance. Hasn't slipped up in the corners. He's really just run qualifying pretty much this entire race. He hasn't had anybody really after the start of the stages, really anybody fighting for that lead.
And I believe that these guys are very lucky that this guy's not on the full-time schedule. Only a part-timer. We only see him do a race every 4 weeks. So, but when he does come out here, he puts on a show. And once again, showing that tonight here in New Hampshire that he's the guy to beat. And I think that if he was on the full-time schedule, he would be really, really hard to beat week in and week out.
Yeah, especially when you get him and Flash together, man. Those two, we saw it at Dover, man. Those two were the class of the field. They absolutely ran away with it. And they gave us a heck of a finish at the end of it, too. And I'm hoping we see something like that here in New Hampshire. But, man, Parley's got some work to do on that car if he's going to be the one to take that fight to the 77-5.
As he's kind of reeling him in here. There's not many laps to go, but he really is reeling in that 77 car late in this run. I think that 5 car has some good long run speed. As what happened to the 24 car? He lost a lot of time. He's all the way in the back, and he's coming back down pit road to repair some damage, I believe. No, he's all the way in the back. What happened to the 24?
Oh, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I didn't even see what happened to him. He's way back here with old Johnny Boy. Oh, no.
Well,
did he hit the wall coming out of the corner? Oh, we're going to have to figure that out at the end of this one. That's crazy. My one to watch. Well, he was one to watch. And nobody was watching him.
As
man,
only
this is
7
going to be
laps to
interesting to see how. Yeah, as we see. Man, I can't wait to see what he does here, having to fight back from this.
I think
calamity.
he has a lot of speed in that car. I think that he'll be up towards the front. I think he'll still get a podium finish, and we'll be able to ask him ourselves at the end of the race. Make sure to tune in for that, though. Don't go anywhere after the race is finished. We do have post-race interviews, and we appreciate when you guys stick around and listen to us talk to our top 3 finishers. Sometimes our top 4. It really depends on the situation, but we really appreciate when you guys stay tuned in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And if you guys like what you're seeing, if you guys been following for a bit or you like what you're seeing, hit that like button, too, in the stream. And press the subscribe button, too, and hit the bell so that way you know when we go live every Thursday and Saturday. Can't guarantee I'd be able to make all of them, but definitely would help out the series, too.
If you're feeling real generous and you want to add your sponsorship opportunity, please hit up Elvin Priest, or me, or the Phantom Racing League Instagram. You can just look it up, it's on there, or the Facebook page. If you want to sponsor, or you have a sponsor that you're interested in joining, it doesn't cost anything. Just if you feel like putting your brand on the market, Phantom Racing League is a great way to do it. We shout them out, our sponsors, after every stage break or at the end of the race. So we'd really appreciate if you guys were interested and wanted to add your name to the list of sponsors.
Yeah, definitely. Be very appreciative of that. These guys have gotten very spread out right now. The 5 and the 77 seem to be equidistant right now. Just running. We got 3 laps. 2.5 now left to go here in stage number 2. 77 is Showtime, still continuing to be just a class of this field.
As he comes off turn 4 again, 2 laps to go to decide if he's going to sweep the stages here. The gap was closing there for a second, but Showtime Favre, no matter how many times that gap closes, he opens it back up. He's staying mistakeless. He's keeping the car clean, and that's all that matters. That's all you need to come away with a win here in New Hampshire. It's all about keeping the mistakes to a minimum and having a good enough car to keep the track position up as well. As we're seeing 1 lap to go, Showtime Favre has been unstoppable here tonight. We're going to see, though, at the beginning of stage 3, does anyone have what it takes to stop Mr. Showtime himself in that beautiful Voyager 77 Camaro, as he's going to round his way through 3 and 4 once again for the final time. He won stage 1. Things got a little bit closer in stage 2, but not enough from behind. Showtime 5, your stage 2 winner here in New Hampshire. We're going to take this time to shout out our sponsors. MFF Motorsports, Chris's Auto Towing LLC. I'm pulling up the rest right now, my apologies. J Pace Racing, Everything NASCAR, Firelinks Racing Network, The Super Squad, ESMN, Redline Racing, FTR, Full Throttle Racing, NARS, MinaPeach.com, and he's not here tonight, but if you're interested, you can go outside right now and join the fitness program yourself. Go find the local tree. Go find your favorite tree. Matter of fact, you can travel across the country if your favorite tree's across the country. And find a hole in that tree and dig your tongue so deep in that hole that you collect all the sap like a straw. Become one with the tree. Join Flash 9's fitness program. Thank you.
Well, that was good. That was like a whole story background. There was an arc and everything.
My local tree that I found in Wicks. Very good. Very good. I mean, just so the flavor on my tongue. Just pure bark.
Whoa!
Oh my God! What happened?
Oh, happy!
I think he forgot to pit. He forgot to pit, so he moved out of the way for the leaders. That's gonna throw a wrench into the mix. As we're for second. 2 Wide Racing, Alvin Priest, once again, we saw at the beginning of stage 2, he's going to clear for second, as the 5 gets moved out of the way, they're 3 wide, the 78, 44, 5, the 5 gets hit, the 24 gets into the 44, the 5, all the way back to 6 now, they're still 3 wide going into 1, the 24 with the advantage, Alvin Priest, up to the lead! A battle for the lead for the first time tonight. Here comes the 42. They're drag racing down the backstretch. The 42 with the advantage as they go down into turn 3. The first time we're seeing the speed out of the 42. He was my ones to watch. As we knew he was one adjustment away, the 77 almost in the wall. The 42 puts him in the wall. They're still side by side. Alvin Priest on the inside. Showtime Favre on the outside. Alvin Priest takes the lead. But here comes Favre with the crossover down to the inside. They're still side by side, bumping and banging off each other, door to door. Can Showtime Favre take the lead back? Alvin Priest putting up a good fight on the outside. Is it going to be enough? No, it's not. Showtime Favre back to the lead here in New Hampshire.
What a battle with the 77 and that 42 car, but don't look now. Here comes 19 and the 78. Alvin's not done, but 19 wants a shot at this lead. He's worked all day to get himself back in the top 3. And Alvin now to the inside of the 77 again.
That 42 car showing no quit. Here we go again. Can the 42 get it done this time? They're going to stay side by side. They look frustrated with each other as they've been door banging down the stretch, as the 78's going to stick with the 77, knowing that he's the faster car. And here comes the guy that we mentioned at the beginning of the race. That was your sleeper pick. The 78 of 19mm finds himself in second right behind the leader of Showtime Favre. Can he make a move and take the lead away?
What an absolutely exciting battle is 19 taking a really high entry into turn 3 and 4, trying to get a good exit off. Able to stay with that 77, but I think now the 77 finding his line again, able to stay ahead just of the 78, but the 78 of 19 had a really good 1 and 2, able to close right in on the back bumper. As now all the fighting seems to have subsided and calm down a little bit. 19 sticking with that high 3 and 4 entry.
As that's going to open the door for Alvin. Here. Alvin gets into the side of the 78. He saves it though, keeps it straight, and that's going to allow the 77. Once again, we've seen it in both stages, stage 1 and 2. Showtime Favre pulling away and capitalizing on everyone else's mistakes.
What a comeback, though, for the 78 of 19.
And the 24
all the
of
way
Black
in the
Cross.
back. Black Cross up into the P4. But the 78 was spun at the end of stage 1. and now finds himself now fighting for second as Elvin has a good entry into 1 and 2. Able to get underneath the 78 of 1-9. Tries the side draft, unable to get there as now Black Cross shoots to the outside of the 42 car. I think Elvin might have done a really good job with the
24
in the wall. Parley takes advantage and now move the 5 to P4. I was just about to say how good that 42 now is on exit, but he now overshoots turns 1 and 2, and now Parley is going to make up the ground and get back to P3 as now he goes to the inside of Elvin, who is having such a good start to stage 3. But now dropping as now Black Cross now finds himself to the inside of Elvin Priest.
Harley looks very hungry as he's coming for second now. He's wasting no time at all as he's going to give the 78 the bumper. Can he take advantage of that as the 78 didn't move up too much from it? If he gets the second, is the 77 car in trouble?
That's what we're waiting to see right now. The 78 still riding that high line through 3 and 4. 77 is showtime. Absolutely sending it into 3 and 4. That time really went wide. But right now, I think the 5 might be just okay. Not burning his stuff up.
As we see our first DNF of the night.
Contact in the back!
I believe it's the 41. No, he's just repairing damage. My apologies. As we're going to go up back towards the front. The 78 starting to close that gap just a little bit, but the 5 not wasting time at all. The 5 down to the inside. He's looking for second now. As they're going to stay side by side in the turn 1. I believe the 78 is just going to let the 5 go here. Yes, he does. Is he going to look for the crossover? No, he's not. He's going to slide back in behind the 5. Now, the 5 controls his destiny. Does he have enough speed to go up there and catch a 77? We've seen it a few times tonight where he gets the second, starts running down the leader. Unfortunately, the time where he got right up to the bumper of the 77, he made a huge mistake that costed him position and time, and it costed him ultimately a stage win.
I think that was good for both the 5 and the 78 because now you're not... Oh, as Elvin in the back goes into the wall on turn 2 exit, and that opens the door for Black Cross to move up to P4.
We heard it on the radio. Elvin Priest said, "I'm in the wall, watch out to the other drivers." He's still dealing with that tightness on corner exit. It takes a few laps to kick in and see it, but we saw at the beginning of stage 2, he had a great run, was able to keep up with the leader, stayed right behind him up until he made that mistake, and we didn't see him again. Hopefully he finds himself back up towards the front, and hopefully his night's not done just yet.
Yeah, as we still have green flag stops to go through here in this stage. The final one of this race. And I think that was still smart by the 78 to just let the 5 go. Don't cost anybody any time on track. Just get the position done and don't let the 77 get any farther away than he already is.
As the 5 doing everything he can in his power to close that gap between 1 and 2. Hopefully he doesn't waste his tires. We saw that last time, and then that caused him to make that big mistake. As we saw it live, as he got loose off of turn 2, cost him a boatload of time, and now finds himself in second again. Hopefully doesn't waste the tires. As Elvin Priest, gets into it with the 44. They hit each other pretty hard there. As the 44 is going to dive bomb onto the 42. The 42 continuing to drop. He's only one spot off of almost last place.
Yeah, Elvin just not having a good go of it here in stage 3. And on a track that we were talking about going into this thing as being one that could really have a good day here, knowing that he's so good at this track, being at his home track, that to see him have a day like this. He only fought for the lead one time, and that was at the start of a stage, and he gave a valiant effort too, but this is not the run we were expecting from the 42 of Elvin Priest.
I mean, I wouldn't say unexpected. I would say that we expected something a little bit better after the last 2 weeks. We mentioned it earlier about the struggles as now has a great car here tonight, and he's been running good. It's just these small things that cost him a boatload of time. He just doesn't have the time to get back up there and find himself in the battle. As the 77 continues to lead, only about 38 laps remaining in this race. Can the 77 car get it done?
I don't know if I saw correctly, but I think the 77 might have scrubbed the wall coming out of 4.
I believe so.
Yeah, definitely something that Parley wants to see is see Showtime still pushing his car. Meanwhile, I'm saving my stuff. I think that's the game plan right now for that 5 car. As we saw Black Cross get by the 78 of 19 to get back to P3. 24 having a good resurgence here in this stage, able to get himself back up into the top 3. And we saw, too, that 24 Black Cross had a really good long run at the end of stage 1. Wasn't able to really show it there through stage 2, but hopefully we'll be able to see it here as these two, the 5 and the 24, continue to try and run down the 77 of Showtime Favre.
Sorry. Kiss off coughing. The 77. I think I need to look at Tree, honestly. I'm sorry.
Oh, here comes Field Filler, gonna short pit.
Oh, a few cars. The 50 and the 44. Both finding themselves down pit road.
Guys, right now, 77 starting to break away from Parley in the 5, as I believe the 24 might be reeling him in just a bit. 24, Black Cross starting to show that long run speed that car has.
As you were just saying that, he almost brushes the wall off turn 4. He's really pushing that car to its limit. He wants to find himself back up there. We saw him get in a wreck. We didn't really see the wreck, but we noticed that he got in it. And now, we mentioned that he would be back, and here he is, about to be up there battling for second with the 5 of Parley, as Parley he struggles in the middle of these runs. He just can't seem to have anything go his way. It just doesn't look like the car has any speed in the middle of the corner, and that's allowing the 77 to pull away even more.
Yeah, definitely is. Right now, I think Parley's car is starting to fall off a little bit. Trying to get maximized on short run, maybe. Not in sacrifice in the long run, because right now Black Cross is running him down. And really starting to catch him as a really good 3 and 4. Closes right in on the back bumper of that 5 car of Parley. Now he is there. Gonna see what he can do going into turn 1. Gonna keep his line. Gonna see what Parley does. Diamonds that corner. Goes real low on exit. Doesn't really help him out that much. Really just stays about the same. Gonna see what he can do here through 3 and 4.
The 77 car now with about a half a straightaway lead, as now the 5 and 24 coming to pit road. The 24 with a risky entry finds himself in the grass. We saw it last week. That cost him his race as he was taking big risks coming to pit road with a bit of a deeper entry. He got away with it the first 2 times. Third time was the charm, though. And he got a speeding penalty late in the race, which costed him his night. Now, the 24 car, once again, making these big risks, coming to pit road. Let's see if he got a speeding penalty.
Yeah, and we got the 78 of 19 also going down with these guys. Gonna see what happens here. The 5 car and the 24 and the 78 now all coming out.
We saw a good pit stop last time, cut the gap a little bit between the leaders. Let's see if it has an effect on Showtime Favre this time as he makes his way into his box. Your pole sitter for tonight as well, I'd like to mention, as Parley's rounding out off of turn 4. The 77 car still not out of his box. Now he is. Nope, it's still going to be the 77 with the lead. Great job during the pressure of the last pit stop, possibly of the race. doesn't make a difference for the 77. He still has a massive lead and a lap fresher tires than this 5 car.
And I think he even gained time. The gap has gotten not smaller, but bigger between the 77 and the 5. The short pit did not work for the 5 and the 24 to close that gap, and now the 77 car has the tire advantage in about a second, over a second and a half lead over that 5 car in second.
The 77 car has led all but 2 laps tonight, putting on a similar show to what he did at Road America, where he led every lap. Great job all night long. Let's see if he can close it out now. Only 28 laps to go here in New Hampshire.
And speaking of sleeper, look who's riding right now in P4, the 44 of Field Filler. He's been running around the top 5 all day, but right now is within a shot of second, right there with the 5 and the 24. 78, though, of 1-9, absolutely lost on pit road. Lost 3 spots on pit cycle alone. Definitely not what you want to see from the 78 who had a really good run early, got caught up in the wreck, fought his way back to second, now finds himself all the way back in 6th.
How long have I been on mute?
Mute?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably like maybe 30 seconds.
Okay, never mind. As I was saying though, on mute, no one heard me. The 44, definitely known for his fuel strategy and tire strategy, and just pit strategy in general. Finding himself in 4th this late in the race could give him a huge advantage with points, as he's been running good, as the 24 comes back down.
Are there 2 pit stops in this stage?
I don't know. I believe so, as the 24 makes his way back down pit road. Maybe 2 mandatory stops enforced by Elvin Priest. The 24 wastes no time. He only pitted about 6 laps ago. Now the 24 back down pit road. He's the first car down.
Yeah, and Happy comes with him.
Happy as well.
Yeah, and he's out. Little splash
Only
and go.
Fuel. That should be the
really
call.
Try the short pit.
Let's see if anyone takes tires. I think this is going to be really interesting coming to the end of this race. Will there be any drivers that take that risk and take tires, as it looks like? Will it be Favre coming to pit road this time? I don't know. No, it's not.
No.
Showtime Favre stays out. Everyone else pretty much staying out as well. I think they want to pit when Favre does, to see what he does with strategy, if he's going to take tires or if he's going to just take fuel. I believe the call you have to make is just take fuel, because if you don't, that's going to cost you big time in this race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if by some crazy scenario we come up with a caution, then you'd take tires. But I think if you're going to take tires, then you would come down right now and do it. Don't wait until the end of the race to do it, because then it's no point.
As the 24 is trying to fend off the 77, hopefully trying not to go a lap down here, as that would be very costly this late in the race, especially with a caution if it does come out. But everyone is pretty spread out. I don't believe we're going to see a caution. I believe it's going to be green all the way to the finish. It's all about how the 77 gets down pit road. No mistakes, and hopefully he just takes fuel, because if he doesn't, that's going to put Blackcross in the catbird seat, give him a shot at winning this race.
Yeah, no, this 77 is Showtime, just riding right with the 24. And he comes down this time. And Parley going to stay out.
I don't know. That was kind of a close call for the 77, as it looks like he didn't commit to it until he reached turn 4. So hopefully he didn't speed. That would be very costly.
Yeah, Field Filler and Dunlap come down with him.
I believe he got on
Elvin was just came down before him the lap before. He's coming off pit road now.
No
Now Parley.
penalties. As the 24, I believe, is out front.
We're going to have to wait and see what timing and scoring says.
Is the 24 your leader? We're about to find out. I believe he is. And look at the gap that he has over the 77.
And this is, right now though, we're going to have to wait and see. Parley's still on pit road.
Parley taking tires.
Oh, this is, yeah, he's staying on for the full 15. He has to come out in front of the 24 to stay on the lead lap, and he will. He'll be about a quarter of a lap, maybe a half a lap ahead of these guys.
Actually, the 78 is your leader. The 78 still has not made his pit stop just yet. I believe he's coming in this time. No, he's not. The 78 car stretching that run as much as possible.